Today's topic, I'm going to discuss annuities with bonuses and really go over the most common mistakes that individuals make when trying to go after that shiny object of having a bonus on their annuity. So how to avoid those most common mistakes, when can bonuses actually be very helpful in a specific situation, and then how can you leverage this for some sort of growth-related goal or retirement income planning-related need. So at any point in time, whenever you have questions, feel free to give our 1-800 number a call. It's 1-800-566-1002, or click on the calendar link in the description of this video. So the first important topic when discussing annuities with bonuses is how exactly does it work? And simply put, you're going to be receiving some sort of bonus, some sort of extra or incentive for placing your monies into that specific annuity account. So if, let's say, you had a 10-year restricted product, you might receive a 10% bonus, which sounds like a nice large number, but in reality, if you can't access all of your monies until after 10 years, is it really a good thing? Versus maybe a 5-year annuity might only give you a 3% bonus versus 7-year, which might give you a 6% bonus. So what that's doing is it's dumping that specific dollar amount that you placed in there. It's giving you some sort of credit right from day one. So if, let's say, we talk about a good situation regarding how this works is, let's say if somebody goes and they put $100,000 into an account that's giving them a 10% bonus, well, from day one, their account balance is going to be sitting at $110,000. If, let's say, they place their dollars in there, God forbid something happens to them, they pass away, most likely based on the sort of account that you have, but most likely whatever this account value is going to get paid over to your beneficiaries. So you could have placed it in there, received that bonus, received that extra $10,000 in that $100,000 example, passed away, and now your beneficiaries are receiving $110,000 in the form of a lump sum. So they could definitely be advantageous, but the problems lie in a few different factors. And the first problem that we see whenever it comes to bonuses is long surrender schedules. So what I mean by that is, with that example, let's say if you have one account that's producing a 10% bonus, but you get locked up into a 10-year surrender schedule versus another account that, let's say, produces a 6% bonus, but maybe you're set up in a 7-year surrender schedule. Which one is better? Well, it depends upon a couple different things, but when I talk about the surrender schedule, what that means is how much money can you access after a set duration of time. So typically with annuity accounts, the insurance companies allow you to access up to 10%. Some might be 5%, some might be interest only, but most commonly it's going to be access up to 10% per year for the X duration of time. So if, let's say, somebody goes and puts $100,000 in there and they're available to receive monies, or that individual's able to access up to 10% of what their original premium deposit is, that means that they could access $10,000 each year starting after the first year. So after year one, they could access $10,000 if they want to take in the form of a withdrawal. After year two, $10,000. After year three, $10,000, et cetera, et cetera. After 10 years, the individual has full access to whatever that account value grew to. So by waiting, if, let's say, somebody had more of a shorter term need and they did not have that 10-year time horizon that they could wait before they could fully access their monies, that's a large problem. When you fast forward and you look underneath the hood off of some of these highest bonus related accounts, you might see surrender schedules of 15 years or 20 years, which is just ridiculous whenever you think about it, because who's to say what the interest rate environment is going to be in the next 15 or 20 years? So like, let's say if you get set up in a 7-year account, meaning after 7 years, whatever, you receive your bonus from day one, your account's growing, or let's say if we're using the example of a fixed index annuity, your account's going to grow every year on its anniversary date, gain 0% whenever the index goes down, you receive that 6% bonus, everything looks good, you're getting some consistent growth in there. After 7 years, you want to have that flexibility to be able to fully pull out your dollars, if that's your choice. And reason being is, let's say if interest rate environment increases drastically after 7 years, you could remove the monies and then sit into some sort of fixed play as opposed to going into that fixed index mechanism. So, and this was something that, occurred, or this was something that was relevant with retirement income planning in the 80s and 90s, when individuals were able to leverage bank CDs and fixed annuities and just live off their interest year by year. They would leverage laddering strategies. So what they would do is say, okay, I have $500,000. Let me go place it into a fixed account. I'm going to receive 10% as an example, fixed interest every year for these next 5 years. And they're receiving $50,000 of cash flow of just the interest payments every year. Fast forward after 5 years, they'd be able to fully remove their dollars, and now they have that full $500,000 remaining because they were just living off the interest. But when you fast forward to today, those interest rate environment is not as favorable as it once was. We're starting to see it creep up a little bit, obviously due to the inflationary hedge that the Fed's doing is increasing inflation, is increasing fixed interest rates, which has a trickle down effect on some of these bonus products, some of these fixed related accounts. But the point that I'm trying to make is you don't want to lock yourself up into too deep of a surrender, especially if it does not apply to your position, because you want to have that flexibility of get out options. And you want to have flexibility to be able to touch your monies. Another example might be if, let's say, you have one account that's giving you a 10% bonus, but you could only access up to 5% of your account balance each year for those after each year within those first 10 years versus another account that, let's say, gives you a 9% bonus and you're able to have access up to 10% per year. Why would it be more favorable to have access up to more dollars? Is you could utilize a whole slew of different strategies. You could leverage like a dollar cost averaging strategy to say, okay, at the end of each year, I'm going to either take the interest that I gained or I'm going to take up to 10% and throw that into the market. So now you're preserving your monies into the annuity account, and then you're leveraging that extra piece, that extra flexibility to receive those free withdrawals, and you're basically undercutting those dollars and you're throwing that into the market. So it's allowing you to take out monies systematically and still be able to access if you want to have more riskier related accounts, or leave the monies in there and just allow it to compound. The longer that you go out, the more that you're basically playing with fire, because if interest rates are high, but then you're locked into an account, let's say after 7 years, you want to remove your monies, but you can't do that. And if you try to do that and you're set up in a 10-year surrender, well, then you're going to get penalized with trying to remove your dollars. Also, you might have something called a bonus recapture. The longer the time horizon of your surrender schedule might mean that you have to leave it in there, or else you cannot have full access to that bonus. If you're not playing by the terms of the contract and you try to remove all your dollars before the end of that surrender schedule, you could recapture, or the company could recapture some of that bonus. So you want to be very, very careful when it comes to utilizing these bonuses. Sometimes they can work great. I'm going to go over some of the benefits of it, but just whenever that conversation goes towards the longer surrender schedules, look at really what you're trying to accomplish. Look at how far out that you need to place those monies in there and really leverage that component to have that full flexibility. Because if you're 10 years out and it's not going to be that large of a difference, maybe you could utilize a 10-year related account, meaning 10-year restricted liquidity related account, and it's necessary to get the bonus and to get those consistent rates of return. But if, let's say, you're already in your 60s as an example, and you're looking to only use a type of fixed related account or a safe growth related account for only a few years, well, then don't get set up into that long surrender schedule restricted account. So there's a couple different mechanisms with it. I hope that this portion makes sense, because it's a large problem that individuals have, is looking at the shiny object, getting set up with with an account that has that shiny object. Oh, I'm getting this 10% bonus, dancing around, but in reality, it's going to end up hurting you in the long run. So I hope that portion of some common problems makes sense. Another common problem are low cap rates when somebody's getting set up with a bonus. So like, let's say if you have company ABC and they're going to offer you an account that is, and we'll just use the fixed index annuity as an example, because this is where we've been seeing a lot of dollars go towards in the last few years, especially with the bonus, especially with those little teaser rates. And let's say company ABC is going to offer an account that's going to produce, or is going to give the individual a 6% bonus from day one, but then they have an indexing strategy, and that index has a cap of 5%. Versus that same company offering you an account that has a 0% bonus, no bonus, but then the cap limit could be 20%. If that underlying index, let's say, gains 12% the first year, then loses 20%, then it gains 15% the third year, then it loses 5%, then it gains 7%. What exactly happens between these two? Well, the one that has the cap rate, it looked nice and clean in the very beginning because you got a 6% bonus. So it's saying, oh, great, a bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush. But in reality, it was screwing you over by getting set up in that product because your cap rate was so low. So that potential growth was restricted by a large margin. So like with the 5-year cap, with the 5% cap, if the index gained 12%, that would only gain 5%. Versus the one that has the 20% cap would be able to receive that full 12%. The next year, if it lost 20, this one's going to gain 0, this one's going to gain 0. The next year, if it gained 15, this one's only going to gain 5, this one's going to gain 15. The next year when it lost 5, this one's going to gain 0, this one's going to gain 0. And then the next year when it gains 7, this one's only going to gain 5, and then this one is going to gain 7. So when we add up, those two factors and we compare the two, this one over here only received a 21% growth. And that's including the 6% bonus. So 6% plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals the 21% of pure, of growth after 5 years. The other one that wasn't giving you that shiny object received a growth rate in this hypothetical example of 34% total. So it was giving you a much larger benefit by not jumping at the shiny object. And this is where insurance companies like to play that game. They like to basically sucker individuals in there, say, hey, look at this nice bonus. And they'll put out a lot of marketing material and different things like that, even though in reality it could be hurting you. So you want to make sure that you're getting set up with whatever is going to be the most mathematically appropriate. And you might have a whole slew of different companies that are offering bonuses versus ones that aren't. It really just depends on which one is the best at that specific time in your state, based on your age and really based on the time horizon that you want to see, so X amount of growth in there. Another common problem to be mindful of are high fees associated with the bonus. So you might have one account, once again, I'll use that 10% bonus example, and maybe it's only a 7-year restriction or a 5-year restriction, regardless of whatever that actual surrender schedule is, maybe it's appropriate for that individual's time horizon. But with a 10% bonus, that might charge an individual 1.25% per year, meaning that if you fast forward and you're getting a 10% bonus now, and let's say it was in a 10-year account, that your fees are guaranteed to be at least 12.5% total throughout the course of that time. So in reality, it gave you 10% to jumpstart the account. But if you don't have favorable growth for those next 10 years, all that bonus is getting eaten up with the fee. Versus another account, let's say, is giving you a 6% bonus and there is 0% in fees. So there's no fees, regarding that account, maybe has a shorter duration. So that's where fees could play a negative role regarding these things. Sometimes the fee is justified. And then other times, majority of the times, in my opinion, the fee is not justified. They'll try to sucker an individual in there, get them set up on a bonus, but then realize that they're basically, stabbing them with a thorn on the side every single year. And you're noticing that, start to peel away, and you notice that account balance maybe have low caps with that, with that high bonus, along with the high fee, and now everything's getting eaten up, and the insurance company is basically making out like a bandit with that. So you want to be very careful, and once again, make sure that it's appropriate for your specific situation, and then it has to line up. Don't just jump at the opportunity. Understand, okay, what are the pros and cons, and really dissect those pros and cons before ever implementing one of these plans. And there's one more common problem that really is in correlation to that bonus. And this last problem is really meant for the individual that's trying to leverage an income rider, and they might have seen a bonus on something known as the income base or the income benefit base. And there's different marketing terminology on how that works. But ultimately what happens, and these are with hybrid annuities, these are with variable annuities with income riders, fixed annuities with income riders, fixed index annuities with income riders, and there's this constant battle thinking that a large bonus is going to somehow relate to a higher income benefit. And that's not always the case. And majority of the time, it's more of just, excuse my language, a bullshit offer to try to get somebody in there, sucker them in there, and then beat them over the head with fees. So what I mean by that is you might have something that says, okay, you're going to get a 10% bonus. I'm just going to use that 10% as the hypothetical example. So let's say that somebody's putting in $100,000 and they get this, what they thought was a 10% bonus or 20% bonus or 30% bonus, but that's not on your physical money. It's on something known as your income account or your calculation account. So that when somebody places their money in there, they might have their physical money doing one thing while their calculation account is going to have some sort of roll-up factor doing another. So when you fast forward and let's say somebody puts $100,000 in there and they have a calculation account that gets 10%, that received the 10% bonus from day one, and they have a 5% simple interest roll up, whatever that case is. So let's say that their physical money from day one is starting at 100,000. Their calculation account is starting at 110,000. And let's say that they want to defer for 3 years before they start triggering income. Let's just say that they're giving them a 5% simple interest roll up off of the amount of dollars they placed in there. So after year one, your account balance is going to be one value. Your calculation account is going to be another. After year two, it's going to be 120. After year three, 125,000. So now maybe there was no growth, or your growth was just basically stagnant. And say you put in 100,000, after 3 years, your physical money is still sitting at 100,000, but now your benefit base, your calculation account is sitting at 125,000. Whenever someone's trying to trigger lifetime income, it goes by the combination, or how that calculation works is by the benefit base or the income base multiplied by your withdrawal rate percentage. So if let's say an individual is in their 60s and their withdrawal rate percentage is calculated to be 4% at that specific time, and we take the two values, 125,000 multiplied by 4%, that equals $5,000 of cash flow. So what that tells us is if this individual put in $100,000, waits 3 years, they could receive $5,000 of lifetime income. Is that good? Well, it depends. Because let's say if you have another account or another offer from a different company and they say, okay, we're not going to give you a bonus, and what we're going to do is give you 5% roll up. So if we fast forward 3 years, we know that your benefit base with this account, with the other company, we'll call it XYZ, is going to be 115,000. There was no bonus, so it's not going to be as high as the shiny object of the income base of 125,000, but maybe they're going to produce this person in their 60s or in those 3 years is going to be a 5% withdrawal rate percentage. What is 115,000 multiplied by 5%? And that would produce an individual $5,750. So the shiny object produced an inferior related result. We always want to see if you're placing a dollar in there, and let's say you're trying to use an annuity with a bonus for income play, which one is going to produce the most favorable cash flow? We do a different mechanism where we try to figure out what your income gap is and then back up into the math to utilize whatever the best account is if you're trying to use an annuity for a type of retirement income need. And that's the most mathematically efficient way to do it, so that you're saving yourself thousands of dollars in the process, thousands of dollars of less of a deposit into the top option, as opposed to just randomly throwing as much money as possible into that inferior option or into a top option. So that's a separate conversation, but just be mindful that because there's a bonus, that could also result in a smaller income, but an individual thinks, oh, my income base, even though that's not your physical money, that's nothing more than a calculation account, they automatically assume that because that's larger, it's going to produce more income. And it's not the case. It goes by income base or benefit base multiplied by withdrawal rate percentage. And all those factors are different based on the individual's age, based on the time horizon before they're looking to trigger it, and a couple of other nuances. But so I hope that this makes sense, and this really closes up the common problems, or the four most common problems that we see with bonuses. Now, what are some of the benefits with bonuses? Because I don't mean to just crap on it all day long, but there are some really good features with bonuses on how you can take advantage of. So whenever we look at the features of bonuses, are really the good things, the potential solutions that an individual could leverage with a bonus, the number one thing is it's going to jumpstart growth. So obviously, if let's say you have two accounts that are very similar cap rates or uncapped indexes and all these different features, if one is giving you a bonus versus the other one that's not giving you a bonus, obviously the bonus is giving you that teaser. It's basically giving that incentive to say, hey, we want to take on more market share. We want to take on this risk, and it makes more mathematical sense to go with that one with the bonus. So, for obvious reasons, it's going to jumpstart your account. If you have $100,000 and you're getting a 5% bonus with one and 0% bonus with the other, you're starting out with $105,000 from day one. So if you have that situation, let's say somebody passes away prematurely or whenever they pass away, obviously the account that has that bonus right out the gate, it could help out that individual situation or help out their family members from a beneficiary standpoint. Or if let's say they're trying to create a proper withdrawal strategy, yes, the more money you have, the more money you can take. So that's where, obviously that's a good thing. The other aspect would be if somebody's trying to replace an account. So many times individuals get suckered into variable annuities with income riders. And what they'll notice is that they might have received a bonus with their variable annuity and they have this income rider. And then when they're looking underneath the hood, they're paying anywhere between 3% to 5% in fees every single year just to be set up into that variable annuity account year by year. On top of it, their lifetime income play is going to be inferior off of the top solutions. And then they also have downward market loss potential associated with that specific account. So they have something called a reverse dollar cost averaging effect, where their physical money could get hindered with downward market losses. They're also getting beat up with the fees. And then when they start pulling monies from that account, that's going to triple compound the effect against that individual's physical money. And it could drain down that account very quickly. So individuals that are maybe suckered into these accounts, and maybe they have a 7-year surrender schedule with that variable annuity, or 5-year surrender schedule, and maybe by removing their dollars, if they were to try to get out of it, they'd get hit with a 5% surrender penalty, or 3% or 2% surrender penalty. Well, it might make sense if somebody could get set up into a better solution and have some sort of bonus. That bonus can take care of what the surrender penalty is. So simply put, if let's say someone's getting dinged with a 3% surrender, but they're getting a 6% bonus, from day one, they're already going to be in the green. Their account balance is already going to be higher than what it was with that inferior related account. So that's where it could save a lot of individuals, but don't get so fixated on that, because you do not want to go from an inferior product to a more inferior product. You want to make sure that it makes mathematical sense by making that change or having that replacement take place. So you better be very, very careful whenever you're dealing with replacements. But yes, a bonus can help out an individual get out of their current account to make sure that they are carrying these dollars over, getting set up with a higher account balance from day one by doing that replacement, if the replacement does have some sort of bonus mechanism related there. Another benefit would be leveraging the bonus to produce a higher income. And it could jumpstart your physical money. It could also jumpstart your income benefit base. So even though I was showing you the common problems with bonuses, that could actually work more favorable. If let's say you're getting a 10% bonus, it's going to jumpstart your income, your benefit base, your calculation account. And if your calculation account, the combination of whatever that calculation account is multiplied by the withdrawal rate percentage is higher because it gave you the bonus than the second or third place option, obviously it makes mathematical sense to utilize it. So that's obviously a benefit. And then really the fourth related benefit would be a higher growth potential. If you and it kind of correlates to jump starting the growth, but if you have something that gives you a bonus versus something that doesn't give you a bonus, obviously the bonus is going to jumpstart it. So if you're getting a bonus with some decent uncapped indexing strategies, or maybe you're getting a bonus and it's in less of a restricted product, so maybe you're still having access up to 10% of free withdrawals, penalty-free withdrawals each year, and it's only a 5-year account, or a 7-year account, or a 10-year account, and you don't have to basically get locked up into that 12-year, 15-year, 20-year sort of duration. That could be a win-win-win across the board, really based on what your risk tolerance is, based on what your goals are, and if it matches up correctly and you can get the bonus, obviously it's going to be beneficial for your position. So in closing, if you found value in this video and you're interested with annuities, or maybe you're coming across annuities, an annuity offer that has a bonus, and you want a secondary opinion to say, hey, is this really the best what's out there for me? Is this the best available based on my state, based on my age, based on my time horizon, or what my goals are? What we do is we have access to all the different carriers and then also proprietary accounts to make sure that we can run it through the ringer, run it through our systems to say, yes, these are the benefits, these are the pros, these are the cons. Or maybe this might be a better solution for you. So we try to make things very simple. If you are interested in having that conversation, you would just simply click on the calendar link in the description of this video, or you could give our 1-800 number a call. It's 1-800-566-1002 and reference this video. For any individual watching this video and wanting to speak with a specialist, we're offering a free 20-minute consultation to discuss your current situation and really delve deeper into that situation. So not just say, okay, let's go, and you have 100,000, great, let's go and throw into a bonus. We want to understand what your situation is and really if it makes sense because there's many times that annuities don't make sense for an individual situation, and other times where it could be a perfect fit. And it goes based on, you know, what your current position is, what your current, you know, what you really want to see as your ideal retirement scenario, and then, you know, whether what you're doing right now can get you to that destination successfully, or whether you should add some additional tools such as annuities with bonuses, or, you know, leverage more growth related plays, more safe related plays. There's a whole combination of different things. I want to thank you once again for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, so you could have access to the most updated videos. Thanks so much, guys.